Welcome. Today is Wednesday, October the 25th, and this is the number one channel, your number one source for NBA betting picks and analysis on the internet. Today, we got a big 12-game schedule, and as usual, we're going to break each one of these games down, do our analysis, and come up with some winning picks. Some equally matched ball games. From the looks of it, we got some really short home favorites, short road favorites, got a couple of dogs. We're going to talk about each one of these games. But before we hop into today's action, make sure, guys, that you're subscribed to the channel. If you haven't done so already, hit that notification bell. I do a second video every day with my best bet of the night. Tonight, I think I got a banger for you guys. So make sure you're subscribed and you got that notification bell ticked. Now, first things first, let's hop into tonight's action. Look at every single game, break them down, and come up with some winners. Let's go. First up, we got the Atlanta Hawks traveling to Charlotte to take on the Hornets. The Hawks currently a 3.5-point road favorite. I had Atlanta favored by 2.5 in this game. Couple teams that I think got worse in the offseason. The Atlanta Hawks let go of John Collins. They traded him away to Utah. Charlotte lost a couple of players from the bench. Dennis Smith Jr. and Kelly Oubre Jr. A couple players that won't be on the roster this year. The big news for Charlotte, like I talked in my team preview video, is what's going to happen with Miles Bridges. We know he's serving a 10-game suspension. News came out that he turned himself in. How long will that saga continue? Don't know. Charlotte, tough team to bet on without him in the lineup. When he gets back in, I'm going to look at them a little more. This is also their first game of the regular season. Not much interest for me in this game. This can go either way. My pick in this ball game, I'll just take the points. Charlotte with the plus 3.5. Expect a high-scoring game here. Both teams play zero defense. They gave up a ton of points. They score a ton. Should be an entertaining ball game. But on the betting front, I just don't see any interest. I'm probably going to stay away. But for the video's sake, let's take Charlotte and the points at home. Up next, Washington at Indiana. The Pacers, 7.5-point home favorites. I had them favored by 8.5. The Wizards are in rebuilding mode. Traded away Bradley Beal and Porzingis in the offseason. Picked up Jordan Poole. The Pacers, different goals for them. They want to make the playoffs. They had a pretty good year last year. Even though they did miss the playoffs, things look a lot more promising this year. They picked up Bruce Brown from the Nuggets in the offseason. Benedict Mathurin will be in here too. Tyrese Halliburton signed an extension. They're all healthy and ready to go at home. Indiana, one of the better home teams in the league. The Wizards, like we just said, are in rebuilding mode. What to say about this game? How am I going to approach this? To be honest, I don't really like the 7.5. It does kind of trouble me a bit. What I am going to do is I'm going to wait for the live in this game. Washington, I do expect them to go on massive runs back and forth. I think their games are going to be wild. I'm going to be hoping that they get off to a big start. Hopefully get a double-digit lead. Maybe get the Pacers on a smaller line, maybe at 2.5, 3.5. That would be great. This 7.5, I think, is going to be very close to the number. So I don't think I'm going to be picking a side here. Both of these teams play zero defense. The Pacers gave up 119 a game last year. The Wizards 114. They should be worse this year. So for the video's sake, guys, even though I don't have much interest at the moment, I am going to look at it on the live. Like I said, I'm going to be picking the over 235.5. I think it's going to be a track meet. Lots of points up on the board. Those of you doing player props, look for over bets, especially on Jordan Poole. I don't know what his number is, but I think he's going to go crazy this year. Probably increase his scoring average by 9-10 points. He might even lead the league in scoring. But for this game, guys, over 235.5 is my pick. Up next, Boston at New York, the Celtics and the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. The Celtics currently 3.5-point road favorites. I had them favored by 3 points. The Celtics, can't do much analysis on these Celtics right now. Complete overhaul on their roster in the offseason. They picked up Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, a very top-heavy ball club. Probably the most talented starting five in the NBA. It's between them, the Bucks, and the Nuggets, I would say. But any predictions, guys, on the Celtics now are dangerous. We're going to have to wait and see what we get from them. The Knicks, we know what we're going to get from them. They made some very minor tweaks in the offseason. They picked up Dante DiVincenzo from the Golden State Warriors. He should help them as a backup. The more cohesive unit between the two, we know pretty much more what to expect from the Knicks and the Celtics. In this game, guys, like I said, it is very difficult because we don't know what we're going to get from the Celtics. How am I going to approach this game? I'm going to look for the Knicks to come out strong, take the lead at the half. I have them with the +1.5. Now, will they be able to sustain that throughout the course of the 48 minutes? I don't know. The Celtics, much more talented than them. It's all going to have to come down to, are the Celtics going to come out strong? Is it going to take them a while to get that chemistry together? We're going to have to wait and see. But for now, in this game, I see New York with the +1.5 as probably the best bet to go with in this matchup. Up next, Houston at Orlando. The Orlando Magic currently 3.5-point home favorites. I had them favored by 2.5. The Orlando Magic, a very young, promising team in their rebuilding process. It's going very well. Last year, they had a very respectable season. Came very close to making the play-in tournament. Made a push at the end. Like I mentioned in my team previews videos, I like the Orlando Magic. They did not tank last year. They played the season out. Thought it was more important to give their young players responsibility, play hard, don't give them any losing habits. Something that the Houston Rockets were doing to their young players. They were buried in obscurity the last couple of seasons. They decided enough was enough, made some moves, hired Ime Udoka as the head coach, picked up Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, Jeff Green, Reggie Bullock, some very good veteran players to mesh with the young guys, try to get him serious, build some winning habits, and hopefully turn the ship around. In this ball game, 3.5 points for Orlando. I kind of like him here in this spot at home. I'm going to take him with the -3.5. I like the Rockets in the future. I just think it's going to take a little bit of time until the young players finally start building some winning habits and they finally turn the ship around. Orlando, -3.5 is my pick in this ball game. Up next, Cleveland at Brooklyn. The Cavs, 1-point road favorites. I had them favored by 2.5. Why is this line so low? Took at the injury report, got my explanation. Jarrett Allen for the Cavs. The starting big man is going to be missing with an ankle injury. Darius Garland listed as questionable. We're going to have to monitor his status, a very important ball player, Darius Garland. The Cavs in the offseason picked up George Niang, Max Strus, couple of shooters. Should help them. They did have a few problems with the three-point shot. Those two players should address that problem. The Cavs should be improved. The Nets, no injuries for them in the preseason. Ben Simmons came back, looked pretty sharp. They should be at full strength. Mikal Bridges is the best player on their team. Other than that, I think we know what we can expect from the Nets. It looks like a rebuilding process for Brooklyn. Don't think they're going to be making the playoffs this year. Now, for this ball game, of course, it's tough to come up with a side, even though I think Cleveland is still the superior ball club, even if Darius Garland doesn't play, and Jarrett Allen, of course, being out. But in this game, guys, I'm going to go with a total play and the over 221.5. I think Brooklyn, of course, they play no defense. They like to jack up a lot of threes, play a lot of up-tempo basketball. They're going to want to get the Cavs running. Cavs like to play more in the half court. The Cavs, though, have shooters this year. I think they will be able to keep up. I think this will be an up-tempo ball game. I'm going to go with the over 221.5, and I'm going to monitor the Darius Garland situation, maybe come up with a pick for this ball game on a side later on in tonight's video. But for now, over 221.5 is my pick in this game. Up next, Detroit at Miami. The Miami Heat currently 8.5-point home favorites. I had them favored by 9. The Pistons, let's talk about them first. Worst record in the NBA last year at just 17-65. This year, they will be improved. I'm almost certain of this. If they stay healthy, that is, injury-free. Cade Cunningham, they're going to be getting their young stud back. He missed the majority of the year last year. I think he only played something like 8, 9, 10 games or something. He's going to be back in the lineup, healthy, looking great in the preseason. They also picked up a nice young player in the draft, number 5 pick, Ausar Thompson. Got Monty Williams as a head coach. Things look good for the Pistons. I think they're going to be a surprise team in the NBA, going to do a lot of damage to a lot of teams. Tonight, the Miami Heat team made it all the way to the NBA Finals. I think had a very disappointing offseason. They expected to land Damian Lillard. Lillard ended up going to Milwaukee. And Miami also lost Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, 2 very important pieces to their NBA Finals run last year. In this ballgame, guys, 8.5 points, half point lower than what I had estimated. I think the Pistons can be competitive in this game. On the injury front, let's talk about this real quick. An important injury, though, for the Pistons. Bojan Bogdanovic is listed as out. Monte Morris, newly acquired player, also out. I think they can still hang in there, guys. I wouldn't even be surprised if they went in there and surprised the Heat, got a straight up W. The Heat, we know, are one of the more disappointing teams in the regular season. Can they blow out the Pistons? Absolutely, they can blow them out. This is opening night, the opening night though for these two teams. I'm going to take a shot here with the plus 8.5 and the Pistons. Up next, the Minnesota Timberwolves in Toronto taking on the Raptors. Timberwolves currently 1-point road favorites. I had them favored by 2. Both teams, very similar rosters to what they had last season, just some minor changes. The Timberwolves, Taurean Prince, I think, was the only player out of the rotation that they lost. Everyone else they kept. They extended some players. Naz Reid, Anthony Edwards got some extensions. Everyone else still in the ball club. The team played very well in the postseason, lost 4-1 to the Nuggets, was very competitive, inconsistent during the regular season, 42-40. They should be improved this year. The Raptors lost Fred VanVleet in the offseason, starting point. Picked up Dennis Schroeder in his place. A very underrated pickup in my opinion. Masai Ujiri talked about the Raptors, calling them actually a selfish ball club. I think the pickup of Schroeder will address that problem. He's a pass-first point guard. He likes to set his teammates up. Doesn't really look to score the ball that much. Doesn't really care. It looks like for his scoring average. He likes to play defense and set up his teammates. I think this could be a good pickup for the Raptors in this game. They are home dogs. Take a look at the injury report real quick. Minnesota. Jaden McDaniels got a contract extension, I think, just yesterday. He's going to be out, listed as out. Karl-Anthony Towns didn't play in the preseason the last couple of games. They said he had knee tendonitis. If that's the case, who knows? He might be a little slow tonight. The Raptors, at full strength, don't see anybody out of the lineup. In this ballgame, guys, the Raptors, I like them at home. I'm going to take them here with the +1. I know it's not going to be one of the more popular plays out there. I might be one of the very few on the Raptors in this game, but I think they do have a very good chance at winning. At home, always tough to play in Canada. Season opener, anything can happen. I'm going with Toronto and the +1. Up next, OKC at Chicago. The Bulls currently 1-point home favorites. I had this game estimated as a pick'em. Obviously here, guys, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the more talented team, more promising, bigger upside. The Bulls, very mediocre the last couple of years. In the offseason, didn't do much, kept the same team intact. Can't expect much from them. They missed out on the playoffs last year. I think they're going to miss out again this year, whereas I think the Thunder are going to take that extra step and make it to the postseason. In this game, Chet Holmgren is going to make his debut, is expected to make his debut, but the Thunder do have a couple of players that are going to be missing. Jalen Williams, Kenrich Williams, a couple of rotation players from last year are expected to miss this game. The Bulls, looks like everyone's going to be in the lineup. The Bulls, guys, a pretty good home team. Did a lot of damage to some of the top tier teams of last year. I think in this game, season opener, the Bulls can get the win here. I got them here with the -1. Of course, Oklahoma City is the better ball club overall. They will have the better season. But in this game, guys, I think the Bulls can win their season opener. I got them here with the -1. Up next, the Memphis Grizzlies at home taking on the Pelicans in their season opener. The Grizzlies 1-point home favorites. I had them favored by 3. For those of you that saw my team preview videos, I was very high on the Grizzlies. I had them and the Phoenix Suns as my 2 favorites to come out of the Western Conference. I'm going to have to change my mind on that. Steven Adams, season-ending knee surgery, a very important piece for the Grizzlies. Will not be with the team. I don't know how they're going to be able to fill in his place. Brandon Clark, the backup big man that injured his Achilles, still out. No timetable for his return. Grizzlies are struggling with injuries once again, and John Morant suspended for 25 games. In this ballgame, Marcus Smart, newly acquired player, will make his debut. Also, I forgot to mention Tyus Jones. They also traded him away to the Washington Wizards, the backup point. Picked up Marcus Smart, Derrick Rose. In this ballgame, injuries. Santi Aldama, the backup big man, very important rotation player, also will not be playing. The Pelicans, The starting lineup, very quality starting lineup. Zion Williams is going to come back. Brandon Ingram, C.J. McCollum, the big three are expected to play tonight. They do also have some injuries. Jose Alvarado, that pesky backup point, is going to be missing. Najee Marshall, Trey Murphy, injuries for the Pelicans. In this ball game, guys, even though the Grizzlies last year, best record in the NBA at home, 35-6, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was a record, 35-6. I think they will have a tough time tonight against the Pelicans. I like the Pelicans here with the money line. I'm going to be taking them here with the money line to win this game straight up. New Orleans, money line, my pick in this ball game. Up next, Sacramento Kings are in Salt Lake City taking on the Jazz. Sacramento currently a 1.5 point road favorite. I had them favored by 2. The Sacramento Kings, the surprise of one of the surprises of last year's regular season, finished third in the Western Conference at 48-34, taking on the Jazz, who are in rebuilding mode. But last year they played pretty well after breaking things up with the Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert team. They played very well last year, missed out on the playoffs just barely, and in the final stretch, they didn't really make an effort. I think they wanted to pick up some draft picks. They have a lot of assets, very low salaries, don't have any real superstar players. Lauri Markkanen, their best player, kept the team pretty much intact, added a very good piece in John Collins from Atlanta. I think he should help them. He should blend in pretty well with this team. The Sacramento Kings, very up-tempo team, like to get up and down the floor, put up a lot of points on the board, shoot a lot of threes. A very good ball club. I do expect them to have another very good season. In this ball game, guys, Utah, very tough at home, at full strength. I kind of like him here. I'm going to be taking him here as home dog with the +1.5. I think they can come away with a W in this game. Even though Sacramento, of course, no slouch, they can easily blow the Jazz out if they pick up, if they put in a good performance tonight. Could happen. Season opener, anything can happen, guys. But I think Utah with the +1.5, they have a good shot at winning this game. Up next, Dallas at San Antonio. Luka versus Wembanyama. Dallas and Luka favored by 3.5 in this game. I had them favored by 4. Of course, everybody is going to be watching Victor Wembanyama in this game, see what his debut is going to be like. A lot of people comparing him to LeBron James, top prospect to come into the league since LeBron. That's quite a title for this young player. We'll see if he lives up to expectation. In this ball game, guys, the Mavs, far superior talent level. I like him in this game. I'm going to be taking him here with the -3.5. Everyone's going to be looking that way towards Wembanyama, and I think Dallas is going to end up getting the win, covering this spread. They are the superior team, guys. We wouldn't even be talking about this last year with this short of a line. 3.5, I'm going to take Dallas here to win and cover the spread. Hope it's entertaining, though. I want to see some good highlights from this young kid, but Dallas -3.5 is my pick in this game. And in the last game for tonight, this Big 12 game schedule, the Portland Trail Blazers are in LA taking on the Clippers. Clippers 9.5 point home favorites. I had them favored by 10. Portland, start off talking about them first. This is going to be their first game in the post-Lillard era. They picked up a very nice player, guys. In my opinion, the Rookie of the Year. I think this guy's going to be the Rookie of the Year. For those of you that saw my futures video on individual awards, individual player awards, I got Scoot Henderson winning this award. He's going to be taking over his spot at the point. He's going to be making his debut tonight. Blazers also got a couple of very nice pieces. Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams from the Celtics. I think the process is going to go very smooth for Portland. The Clippers, one of a veteran ball club, very talented team, can win anywhere, can beat any team at any given night. The talent level is very high on this team. The problem with them has been injuries, of course, but they're coming into this season healthy. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, healthy, ready to go. The Clippers, definitely one of the top teams in the league. This 9.5 points, I had it at double digits. I think the Blazers, guys, could maybe lure them to sleep a bit, maybe get a backdoor cover here. I'm going to be taking them with the points in the +9.5. Clippers, obviously the superior ball club, but this is opening night. They could take their foot off the gas towards the end of the game. Portland might sneak in there, cover this spread, end up losing by single digits. I'm going to be going with Portland here and the plus 9.5 in this final game of today's big 12 game schedule. And that is a wrap for now, guys. This concludes this video. 12 games. We broke each game down, did our analysis, got our picks, and we are ready to go. I'm going to say one last thing, though, before I go. Actually, two more things. I mentioned this in yesterday's video. I'm going to say it again, guys. It's very important. Tread lightly. This is opening night for all these teams. 24 teams, first game of the season. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We're going to have plenty of opportunities along the way. Don't go too crazy. Personally, I'm going to be going quarter size like I did yesterday, at least until 4 or 5 games into the season. And the second thing I want to say, I say it in every video, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Tonight, I'm going to do a second video. There is one game on the schedule that I'm really hot on. I just got to make sure that we don't have any last minute fuckery. The injury report manipulation every day. You guys saw what happened yesterday. First day of the season, they don't waste any time. We saw Bradley Beal, questionable. Then he was listed as doubtful, questionable again, and then he got ruled out. The line was going up and down like crazy. We didn't know what to do. Today, I'm going to wait. There is one game, though, I'm pretty hot on. Watch my next video. I think it has a really good shot at coming through. Even though, like I said, we are treading lightly, but it is going to be my play of the day. Don't miss it. I'll see you guys again in the video later. Those of you that don't join me later, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Have a good one.